Yeah, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Ask the Pediatricians Live. And I'm Dr. Gbemisola Boyede. I'm a pediatrician and founder of Ask the Pediatrician Facebook group and foundation. It's a pleasure to have you join me this morning. I'm supposed to have one of our moderators with me, but she's having some technical challenges. I hope she will be able to join me later on. And today I'll be talking on something that is very, very important for me as a pediatrician, and I think it's also very important for you as well. Just before I go on, I'll just encourage us to share this video. You can share it on your timeline, you can share it on your pages, on your groups, invite friends and family so that we can all have a fruitful discussion. And if you have any question, kindly post it on this under the video and I'll feature it and I'll be able to take it as soon as I can. Kindly ask only child health related questions and preferably questions on the topic we're discussing today, which is on appropriate health-seeking behavior for us as parents. And you will know why I decided to talk on that topic later on as I give an overview. So kindly share the video, kindly invite your friends to join me, and then we'll be talking about this very, very important topic that is very, very close to my heart. So for those of you who are already with me, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Yes, I can see you, Adebola. Thank you for joining. And I can see Sam saying thank you for joining us. So for the rest of you, please kindly drop your questions and comments as we'll continue in this broadcast. This is being brought to you courtesy of Ask the Pediatrician Foundation, and our vision and our goal on HCP is to make sure that we promote child health intelligence. We want to contribute our own quota to reducing unnecessary child deaths, especially child deaths that are preventable. And that is what we do on HCP. We answer your questions, we provide health education and information. And so if you are just joining me this morning we're going to be talking about appropriate health-seeking behavior for parents and for carers of children. So if you have questions, don't forget to drop your questions and don't forget to share the video. Now, let's talk about what do I mean by appropriate health-seeking behavior. As a pediatrician, I'm very passionate about the health of our children. And of course, for those of us who are living in this developing part of the world, our child deaths, or what we call mortality statistics, are quite high. A lot of children die. And most of the things that kill these children are things that are either preventable or they are things that we can do something about. That is, if you see the children early and we treat them early, then the children will not likely die. So children are dying from things like malaria, and we have treatment for malaria. Children are dying from pneumonia, we have treatment for pneumonia. Children are dying from diarrhea diseases, we have treatment for diarrhea diseases. So the things that are killing our children really should not be what should be killing children, because we can either prevent them or we can treat them if we pick them up early before they become complicated. But one of the major reasons why children die in this part of the developing countries, and especially in sub-Saharan Africa, is because our health-seeking behavior is quite poor. In other words, parents, carers of children don't tend to go to the hospital on time when the children are sick. And this is one of the reasons I started Ask the Pediatrician Facebook group. And even on the Facebook group, I've seen people post questions every day. And I'm like, why are you posting this online? This child is sick. This child needs to be taken to the hospital. And, people post questions like, oh, my child had this swollen eyes. The eyes is red, is swollen. It has been happening since Saturday, and you're asking questions on Friday, and you're asking me, what should I do now? And I'm like, seriously? You are still asking what to do 3-4 days after a child is having something so severe? People don't just know. I find that sometimes it's not like they are deliberately being they don't want to do the right thing, but they just don't know. And so that's why I decided that today we will talk about what is appropriate health-seeking behavior. When do you go to hospital? When should you do what should you do if your child is sick on day 1 and day 2? And at what points during that illness do you need to go to the hospital? And this is what we'll be talking about today. So if you have questions and you are not clear, you can drop it for me and then I'll be happy to take them. As much as possible, try and ask questions that are related on health-seeking behavior, going to the hospital. If you have other questions that are not related to the topic I'm discussing about today, you can go to our Facebook group, drop your questions there, and one of our moderators will attend to it. So that's what we're talking about. All right. Thank you so much for those who have joined us. Now, when it comes to illnesses or health issues in children, there are things that we doctors refer to as emergencies. There are things that are emergencies. Now, what are emergencies? Emergency are what we call life-threatening conditions. Life-threatening conditions. Emergencies are things that you really need to do something now. If you don't do anything now, that child could die. And what that means is that when children have conditions that are classified as emergencies, they must be seen by healthcare professional at the hospital right immediately. If they are not seen immediately, the child may die. And unfortunately, we do get people posting emergency questions on Ask the Pediatrician Facebook group. And now, like, one of the things we've clearly stated that on our group rules is that don't post emergencies because it's supposed to be a group for health education and information. So there are things that are emergencies. The time you will take to log in to Facebook group and to post that question, that's the time that that child should ideally be seen by a doctor and be having live restorative treatment. So if you are using that time to post on Facebook group, you are actually endangering your child, and that is not right. And so what we're saying is that when a child has emergency conditions, those children should be taken to hospital. And what are life-threatening or emergency conditions? These are things that can kill, and there are things that affect, like what we call ABC, anything that affect the airway of children. In other words, if there's something like this blocking the child's airway and the child is not able to breathe properly, there's something blocking the airway, like if a child shocked on something or for whatever reason, that is an emergency and that child needs to be seen in the hospital immediately. Anything that affects the airway. Secondly, anything that affects a child's breathing. In other words, a child suddenly stops breathing, or a child is breathing too fast, or a child is not able to breathe properly, that is an emergency, and that child needs to be taken to the hospital immediately. Then we also have things like if a child is bleeding, if a child is in shock, these are things that are emergencies. If the child is poisoned and all those kind of things, these are things that are like emergency situation, and children like that should be taken to hospital. So we also have things that are like urgent situations. They may not be immediately life-threatening, but if you also don't do things about them immediately, they can progress to life-threatening emergencies. So for example, if a child has an accident, either a road traffic accident or something like that, these are things that can progress to emergencies, and so such should be dealt with immediately. Excuse me. So we're talking about, just a minute. Sorry for the break in transmission. I just had to quickly sort out an issue. So when we're talking about emergencies, we're talking about things that can lead to death, if not promptly addressed on time. And that is why we're talking about this. So for such conditions, the appropriate health behavior is to take that child to the hospital immediately. That is not the time to come to Facebook. That's not the time to drop your questions, because when you drop your questions, our professional may not be able to attend to them until maybe another 48 hours, and sometimes even up to 72 hours. And for that, in emergency situation, that is not completely acceptable at all. So it is very, very important that we take the children to the hospital immediately. And that is what we're talking about today. I will just quickly take a few of the questions that have been dropped for me, and then I will continue again. Yeah, Holanika is saying hello, thank you. Beckley is saying good morning. Beckley is also asking whether Indomie is safe for kids.